Hi, Stevie. We sent the email out late today, so I was wondering if anyone would be here. And of course, you are, because you always are. So let me get this over. Hi, Carolyn. All right, so there are people here. I got to get myself ready to rumble. So, sent my email out late, wasn't sure who or if anyone would show up. And of course, you did. All right. So, how are you ladies doing? Are you ready for whatever? Or whatever's happening? I don't mean just today, but I mean in life. So I have been going to the bar method, which has been such an interesting experience. It's been a few weeks now and I'm pretty addicted. The thing that's amazing is whenever we do something for our body, there's so many different things we can do that affect different aspects of our body. And the bar method is very isolated movements, really slow movements, particular areas. And it's been really lovely and it's really nice to be sore. I also notice how strong I am, which has been really great as well, because it just shows me that all of the yoga that I've practiced for all these years creates so much strength and flexibility and great range of motion. So I show up and I do these crazy workouts and I'm so sore afterwards, and I love it. So with that, I'd like today to maybe stay a little longer in some of the holds. And one thing the teacher said yesterday in class, when we were holding something and everybody's legs are shaking or my legs are shaking, I look around, there's quite a bit of people's legs shaking because we stay in things so long that we do a real deep challenge to our muscles to the place of fatigue. And she said, 20 more. This is where change and shift comes from. So, of course, it's really important that we modify, moderate, and pay attention to each movement and how deeply and how long we stay there for our own body. That's very, very important. And taking ourselves to our edge, maybe slightly over or just at least to that edge, is where you're going to get the benefits that just compound and build onto strength, flexibility, increase range of motion, and all the things that are important for our body. Rita. All right, Rita. Yeah, and whoever else is here. So I did say that I would do this all the way through now. Of course, next week I'm going to take off. I think it's really important for me to have some time off. And my last 2 weeks off, I was in Bali and Scotland. So I wasn't physically in the US, and I like to have times in the US where I am not don't have anything on my schedule. And then I'm planning my Scotland 2024, April 28th, May 7th. Get in touch with me if you're interested in that, because the doors will close soon on that. And I do have some spots available for Scotland 2024. All right, any requests today from anybody that's here? Any body parts or specific areas you'd like to focus on? If you do have something, let me know. And that's one thing I'd like to say also about the bar method. There's a lot of postural aspects that I'm really happy about. And then there's also some positions we get ourselves into and I'm like, oh no, this is terrible for osteoporosis. This is terrible for bone health. No, we shouldn't do that. So who knows, maybe I'll create an osteoporosis routine for the bar method. It's kind of something I'm thinking of doing. So that's actually on my radar. All right, so if there's nothing in particular, then let's do this, ladies. I'm assuming it's ladies because there's not very often are there men that show up to classes. There are some, the more evolved males out there. Okay, so for today's practice, I'd like you to focus on strength and strength building in a small window. So thinking about every time you're in a posture and you push yourself or you go to your edge, the place where it gets a little challenging and you might consider coming out, if it's a safe place for you to stay a little longer, that's where you can really get some extra deep benefits. And every time you do this, you compound, you grow, you expand the strength in your body, all of the things that are important that we're looking for when it comes to bone health or healthy aging. So today we're in a stay present moment. You're going to give it your best effort as always, as you always should. And then of course, if there's an issue, an injury or something, paying attention that you don't pull too much or push too much in an area that you have scar tissue or injuries or that you know that you need to be cautious with. For the practice, you'll need a block, a blanket, and a strap. And I'd like to begin today in a pretty supported back bend. And with that, I'll give you some options. So the option I'm going to use is to put a block behind the shoulder blades, which is about this part of your body, right behind your heart. For some of you, that may be a little intense. If it's too intense for you, you could put the blanket behind your heart and maybe a block at your head, trying to get some kind of back bend shape into your body. The strap will be there for the later part of the practice. And then I'm going to put the block underneath my shoulder blades. So I'm going to use the blanket for my head. And the fold of the blanket really is determined by your body and what your needs are. So let's come up first. I'd like to do a little bit to open up your upper body for this back bend. Coming onto a kneeling position, and if you need to put your blanket under your knees, do that. Take your hands down alongside your body, exhale, and as you inhale, reach long through your fingers, up, turn your palms down, exhale, long back neck, chin to chest. Inhale, exhale, chin to chest. Inhale, exhale, chin to chest. Keep one hand down, one hand reaches up, lengthening, the hand reaches down, the hand up. Try to keep your arm alongside your ear. Don't have it forward. No flexion in your spine, neutral spine. Come to the other side. And then do a little side to side action here. If it's too intense, having straight arms, because it's a little bit more pressure, having straight arms, you could come into bending your elbows, keeping the shoulder blades on the back of the body. Supporting posture, do what feels appropriate for you. And then bring yourself back to center. Legs are a little wider for stability. Take your arms open and then hug yourself. Open and hug yourself. Go slow. Feel the stretch coming into your arms, right where the arms attach to the body and the chest. And then bring your hands behind your head. Clasp your hands behind your head. Tall in your torso. Elbows out to the side. Inhale. As you exhale, lengthen the back of the neck. Tuck your chin towards your chest. Elbows towards each other. Inhale, open. One more. And then bring yourself back to center. Take your elbow up and then let your hand follow. Let your hip follow as well. Doing a little rotation in your trunk, like you're back stroking. Your elbow is pretty high and your gaze follows your hand, bringing in some safe rotation. Feel that maybe in the belly, maybe underneath the ribs, in the front of the hips. And then bring yourself back to center. So warming up the trunk, we're going to come down onto the body or onto a block or a bolster or a blanket, whatever feels right for you. Trying to get a back bend shape in your upper spine. So getting this kind of a curvature in the spine here, really, especially behind the heart. We'll make it a moving meditation too, so that we'll do movement with breath. When we are in the moving aspect of this, it's going to be this kind of an action where the upper arm bones are moving a lot. So it's not just the hands moving, it's really the upper arm bones moving. And when you have your body either on a rolled up blanket or a bolster or whatever it is you're putting underneath your heart, when the shoulder blades are stabilized and kind of locked into position, then you start to stretch the soft tissue and the muscles that mobilize the shoulders. So when you come down, keeping that nice front part of your spine lengthened, lift your pelvis up. So the base of the block would be right where the bra line is, and lift your pelvis up, really lengthen your body here. And then you would bring yourself through a long position down onto whatever support you have for your head. And keep your eyes open at first. Knees are up towards the sky, soles of the feet are on the ground. And then push your belly button towards your spine to try to push your low back towards the ground. Because you may notice that there's some extra tension coming into the low back. So pay attention to that feeling. Lift your head, lengthen the back neck. And then take your arms out wide, and let's do a little movement to allow this to come into your body. The elbows come down towards your ribs or to your waist, and then your arms move up towards overhead. Make sure that the blanket behind your head or whatever's supporting you is sufficient. You may need to put more blanket. Don't want your head lower than your heart. If you have if you have a headache, you have glaucoma, or any reason why you shouldn't have any pressure in the head. If you're able to close your eyes and feel what's happening in your body. Arms go overhead to touch on the inhale. The exhale, they come to the waist. Let your hands be pretty wide. Push your belly button to your spine to protect your low back. And then when you could come into a held position, take your hands really wide. Palms are up towards the sky. Let your body stay here in this held position as long as it feels okay. And if you need to keep with movement, the movement is the inhale, arms go overhead, and the exhale, elbows come towards your waist. Feel your way into what feels appropriate for you. Bring your belly to the party. So as you inhale, feel a softening of the belly. As you exhale, hug your lumbar spine with your core. Push your belly button towards your spine and push your low ribs towards the ground. Pubic bone up towards the low ribs. So feel that activation. Doesn't have to be a big move, just a lot of awareness on the exhale. Let your back teeth separate, your jaws relax. Bring your arms into a place where you feel this posture stretching the front of the body, the chest, the shoulders, the ribs. Mouth is closed. And let your breath come into your torso. Inhale to expand. Exhale, hug your lumbar spine to protect your low back. And feel that expansion on the inhale. Use that core to contract and to activate your core muscles, pressing your belly towards your spine. Try to push the spine towards the floor. And feel where that deepens the stretch for you, especially underneath the armpit area, where the arms attach to the body. On the inhale, if you'd like, you could press your arms into the ground to inhale. And as you exhale, contract, push your belly button to your spine, hold on to your core. Finishing up your last couple of breaths. And then go ahead and release. Wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes. Take your arms long, take your legs long. Reach, reach, reach. Roll your wrists. And then bend. Now when you come off, you want to dismount in a way that's safe for you. So go slow as you roll onto your side. That could be a pretty big opener, opening and stretching muscles that don't get very much attention that way. Don't get stretched like that. So do what is safe for you. We're always being aware. That's how you keep yourself safe, is to be really aware. Take your hand on the ground, push yourself, bring yourself up to a kneeling position. And then bring your blanket underneath your knees. So let's warm up our body. Take your knees onto your blanket. Your arms are nice and wide. And I want you to try to minimize the pressure in your wrists. So if you turn your fingers out, that'll minimize the tension in the wrists. Or you can have your pointer fingers forward. Start to push your body weight side to side. So it's a pretty substantial movement side to side. You're pushing your body weight, the hip goes to the side, you push your body weight. And it's more about the hips going beyond the shoulders, really pushing the hips to the side. And you'll feel that stretch in the side of the hips. And then if you're able to push one inner thigh towards the other, like you're trying to touch the inner thighs, even though your legs are spread, it'll dip your hips down a little, add a little bit of rotation in your pelvis, which will stretch the adductors, starting to stretch the muscles that attach to your pelvis. In yoga therapy for osteoporosis, we pull a lot on the pelvis and on the leg bone to strengthen the femur bone, the neck of the femur, and the pelvis for fracture prevention if you slip, trip, stumble, or fall. So taking your body side to side, bring yourself back to center, bring your body weight forward so your body weight goes over your wrists. Feel that in your wrists. Keep your head lifted and active, and then push your body weight back so you come off of your wrists. Your body weight goes back. Feel that stretching the glutes. Glutes have to lengthen to do that deep hip flexion. You're bending your hip. Bring yourself forward, bring yourself back. Important to learn about safe bending in the hip joint when you have osteoporosis, and really for keeping your spine and your body healthy. Keep your head lifted up, moving your body back. Your legs are pretty far apart here. The toes are pointing back. Don't let your toes come in towards each other. Pushing back, keeping your head lifted. Start to make this bigger, bringing your body closer to the ground and then back. Lubricating that hip joint, lengthening the spine, warming up the muscles of the pelvis, of the legs, of the low back, the torso, the arms. Keep your arms straight. Start to look up with your head as your pelvis comes closer to the ground. Start to push back. You can start to bring your head towards the ground if you'd like, coming into more of a what's called a puppy dog posture. Inhale, exhale. If you need to adjust your arm position, you can take your arms wider, farther out in front of you. You want to have straight arms when you do this. The wider your arms are, the more space you'll have for your body, for your head to come towards the ground. Close your eyes, feel this in your body, make sure it feels appropriate. Pulling and pushing on the bones is something we do in this practice. For osteoporosis, make sure that's effective and safe. Next time you come forward, stay here. Keep your arms straight. Push your heart forward. Push your pelvis towards the ground. Push away from the ground with the straight arms, and the head is up whether the eyes are open or closed. Breathe down to your belly. Stretch your belly. And then bring yourself up. We're going to come into a spinal stretch. Forehead to the ground or on your block. Arms are straight. Walk your hands away from you. Keep them straight. Bending at the hip, tushy in the air. Puppy dog. Take one more breath. Take your arms, walk your arms over to the left. Keep your arms straight. Your right arm is straight. Rest your head on your right arm. Push your right hip to the right. Push your head into your right arm. Stretch the right side. Push your heart towards the ground. Feel that stretch along the right side of your body. Make sure your pelvis is back, not coming forward. You want to feel the pelvis pulling away from that right palm that's on the ground. Take one more breath. Take your hands, walk your hands over now to the right. Push your hips to the left. Let your head rest on your left hand. Feel that stretch on the left side of your body. Take one more breath. Bring yourself back to center. Realign your spine. And then bring yourself up. Let's do a little stretch in the hips. Bring the right foot forward. Take your hands on the right leg. You're going to inhale forward, bringing your pelvis forward, straightening your back left hip, and then bring yourself up. Try to straighten the front leg. Forward and back. If you want to add a little bit more balance challenge, you can come up and put your hands on your waist when you do this. Look forward at a point. And then if you want to add a little bit of hamstring stretch, you can bring your toes up with you. And then bring yourself up and out. Let's do the other side. Bringing left foot forward, right toes are on the floor. The wider your stance is, the more secure this will feel from a balance perspective. Bring your pelvis forward, straightening that right hip at the back, and then bring yourself up to neutral. Coming forward and back. Inhale forward, exhale back. Adding the lift of the toes off the floor, you come forward. When you come back, the toes come up. Woo! Definitely a balance challenge there. And you can always have your hands on your thigh too. That might be a little bit more helpful. Bring yourself back. Bring yourself back into that stability position, and then bring yourself all the way out. So let's start to do some work, some strength. Be in your body, do what's appropriate for you. The first posture I'd like to do is plank. It's a lot of body muscles at once, and it's a pretty strong posture. So coming forward with your hands, and then letting your body come forward. pushing your belly up towards your spine to try to flatten out the low back. So this would be the modification for plank. Or you could flip your toes under, lifting your heels up, really pushing through your heels here. And then spreading your fingers, pushing your fingers into the ground, pushing the hands into the ground and try to slide the hands back to the feet. Bring your awareness to your feet. Make sure pinky toes are touching as well and strongly push through the heels. Feel the calf stretch. Feel the strength in your body. Push your feet into the floor and try to drag them up towards your hands. Try to flatten out the low back, really pushing your belly up towards your spine and keep your head active here. So holding on to your head with the upper back muscles, the postural muscles in your body. Pushing away from the ground. Feel the strength in your body. Don't let your body hammock. Really push your belly button up towards your spine. Take one more breath. Bringing yourself down. Coming into a rest position, whatever that is for you, catching your breath in a rest position. Close your eyes. Accelerated heart rate, pay attention to that. Breathe down to your pelvis to slow it down. Take one more breath. So we're going to go into side plank, which is a pretty challenging posture. The modification could be the half moon. So you come from all fours onto the side and lift yourself up here. This is a great lateral chain modification for Vasisthasana side plank. So if you know that side plank is not for you right now, or maybe ever, take that variation. Otherwise, if you're going to do full side plank, you bring your toes together. You lift your pelvis up and come onto the edge of your foot. You push away from the pinky toe edge of the down foot, and you try to lift your pelvis away from the floor, pushing down. And then you lengthen your spine. Reach your arm up and slightly back. Push your heart forward, long spine. Push your pinky toe edge into the floor strongly. Let that be where most of the effort is in this posture. Pushing away from the ground, lengthening your spine, heart lifted. Take one more breath. And then you bring yourself out. You come over to the other side. You take your feet back behind you. They're together. You lift yourself up and you roll onto the pinky toe edge on this side. Bring your awareness to the pinky toe edge right away because that's where you really want most of the action. Pushing away from the ground, getting the lateral, the side of your body to fire up, to be active. And then lengthen your spine. Arm is up slightly back. Long spine here. Bring your awareness again down to the pinky toe edge. Push like crazy to lift your pelvis up towards the sky. Take one more breath. And then bring yourself out. Come all the way out of that. Close your eyes, catch your breath. Each moment you stay in these postures, you're strengthening your body, your muscles, your bones, your mind, your confidence. Mouth stays closed. Breathe deeply down to your belly, to your pelvis, to catch your breath. Take one more breath. And then open your eyes. So staying with this upper body strengthening, we did the plank, side plank. There's a lot of side body, front body work. Let's do some of the back body aspects. We'll do a reverse plank. We'll do it in a tabletop position. So you want to push your feet evenly into the ground, pushing your hands. Get your hands in whatever position you need for your wrists. Try to get your shoulder blades to slide towards each other so there's no collapse in your chest. Your feet are hip distance. Your fingers are spread quite a bit. Exhale. As you inhale, lengthen your hip joint. So lift your pelvis, try to unbend your hips when you come up. And then bring your awareness to your hands. Push your fingers into the floor. Push both hands into the floor. Lift your pelvis up. Keep your head active here. So you could either have that long spine or tuck your chin down towards your chest. Push your feet in, squeeze your tushy. Push your hands in. Feel that stretch on the shoulders. Feel that work in the back body to push away from the ground. Take one more breath. You're going to come down slow. Come into a position to rest, whatever that looks like for you. Closing your eyes, catching your breath, long spine. Come here. Come here. Sorry, he sounds like he's going to throw up. Come here. Oh. He just threw up. Okay, well, that's the first time that happened, but at least I saved it for me cleaning up. Whew. Sorry for that distraction, but at least we were in a catching our breath kind of moment. All right. So we're going to come to standing with this concept of going to your edge, maybe slightly either staying there or challenging yourself in whatever's an appropriate challenge for you today. So I'd like us to come up through down dog, unless you know that that's not good for you. And if you need to come up through a runner's lunge position, try that. And then if you're able to do the down dog, take your hands really wide, take your legs really wide, flip your toes under, and then pushing your tushy in the air, let's stretch our back body. Take one heel at a time down towards the ground. Make sure that what is stretched here or bent here or flexed here is your hip joint, your knee, and not your spine. So keeping your head either in alignment with your wrists, looking at about the wrist level, pushing one heel at a time towards the ground. Spread your fingers. A lot of upper body strengthening work here to be in this down dog position. Try to push your body weight back so that you're in your feet as well. And then push both heels towards the ground. Try to keep that bend in your hip. If you need to bend your knees, bend your knees. Take one more breath. And then bend your knees now. We're going to walk the hands back to the feet. Your feet are going to touch the ground and let your legs be really wide as your mat. From here, bring either your forearms up onto your thighs or bring your arms forward in this deep squat position. Feel like you're ripping the floor apart with your feet. Push down with the tailbone, long with the spine. Take one more breath and then bring yourself all the way up. Let's clear the space. Take your strap off to the side. Take your block off to the side. And then if you need a chair or a wall, get the chair or the wall. Blanket will also go off to the side. Let me switch this a little. Finding alignment in the standing position, the Tadasana posture. The feet are together. Make this active, an active posture. Push your feet into the floor and start to feel that the heels, the outside pinky toe edges, the ball of the foot, all the toes are pressing into the floor equally on both sides. Your hands reach down, push your arms back, push away from the ground and get tall in your spine. Chin is parallel towards the ground, push your head back. Feel that in your body. Hands are active, your whole body is active here. You push down, you get tall in your spine. Push down with your feet, down with your tailbone. Push your belly button back towards your spine, long in your spine, arms are back. Take one more breath. From here, we're going to go into chair. So bring your toes together. You could bring your whole feet to touch, or at least the toes. Then you're going to start to bend your hip, push your tushy back, bring your arms forward and up in a deep squat. Look down, make sure you can see where the foot and the leg meet. So push your knees back. Keep your spine long. You should see all of your foot. Your knees will be back. And then sit a little deeper if you can. Bring your arms up. Look down. Make sure you see the whole top part of your foot. So push your knees back. Push your feet into the floor. You could squeeze your legs together to help get power. And then push your belly button to your spine. Point your tailbone down. Bend a little deeper if you can. The deeper you go, the more pressure you put in the muscles, in the joints, in the bones for strengthening. Reach long. Pull your shoulders away from your ears. And then look up. Deeper if you can. This is where the growth happens. Strengthening your legs, your lower body, your femur bones, your quadricep muscles, hamstrings, glutes. Take one more breath and then bring yourself up, shake your legs. Shake your body, take the tension out. Shake, shake, shake. Catch your breath in a pretty easy stand, a pretty wide mountain without too much effort here. Catching your breath, feeling your feet on the ground. Do a little side to side with your body weight. And then bring yourself back to center. So you're going to bend your toes, lifting your heels up. Try to keep your body stationary and let the movement be down low. So no up and down with your upper torso. Let it be that the knees bend, the hips bend, the toes bend, all the lower joints. And then bend your toes so your toenails touch, stretching the top of your foot, warming up the feet. The standing postures, it all begins in the feet. We want a lot of gripping or activity in the feet on the ground. That's where your balance comes up into your body. Strong feet, strong balance, good for fall prevention, fracture prevention. And then flip your toes under, stretching the top of your foot. So let's come into tree. A basic balance posture, see what's appropriate for you. Take your hands down alongside your body, tall spine, tall body. Push your body weight over to your weakest leg if you know you have a weak side. Bend your knee, toes are out to the side. Bring your foot in between your ankle and your knee. From here, you could challenge yourself with movement today, or maybe you stay stationary. You could bring your arms up, shoulders back, shoulder blades sliding towards each other. Push your foot into the ground, get nice and tall. You could also add a challenge by bringing your head up. And then adding one eye or the other closing if you need. Lift your heart. Lift your heart, lengthen your spine. Take one more breath. Bring yourself down slowly. So come out with control. Find your center. Over to the other side, bending your knee out to the side. Bring the foot up in between your ankle and your knee. And from here, whether you add a challenge of movement, you come into a static hold, or you let your head go up and maybe even add eyes one at a time closed, depending on where you are in your ability and in your practice and in your balance. Challenging yourself to get stronger, to get better balance. Take one more breath and then bring yourself out. Let's go to another balance challenge. This is the half moon. So get a chair if you need that, or a block. A wall is really handy. I'm going to use my wall here today. Put the block on the floor and your foot in the direction of your block, or if you have a chair, the foot in the direction of the chair. The standing leg is the leg you're going to load up onto. So contract your core, lifting yourself up into this posture. When you get there, bringing your hand up, lifting that top leg is active, and then try to turn your body forward, your hips and your heart, stacking the pelvic joints, one hip bone on top of the other, the shoulder blades, lengthening your spine out of your tailbone. Lift that leg, keep that leg very active that's in the air. Standing leg could be straight, not necessarily locked. You could have a slight bend if that makes balance easier for you. Take one more breath. To come out, the standing leg bends. Keep your spine nice and long. Lower your leg. Let your body come forward. Keep your head lifted. Head lifted will help to ensure that you don't flex your thoracic spine. Bringing your block onto the ground. Your foot facing the block, or if you have a chair, facing the chair. We're to load into that standing leg. So you bend your joints of the hip and the knee, not the spine, to come into the posture. Contract your core, put your weight in that standing leg, then actively lift the leg, bring your arm up. A lot easier if you have a wall or something. Much more challenging without it, because there's a lot of balance in this, and you're balancing the side of your hip joint, which is not natural. Keep that leg lifting. Push away from the floor with a standing leg. Lengthen your spine, turn your body forward, and feel the stacking of the joints, one hip bone on top of the other, and the shoulder blades lined up as well. Long spine, lifted leg. Take one more breath. You're going to bend your knee to come out. You're going to slowly bring your body down, head is lifted. Bring yourself up and bring yourself into mountain. And then relax. We're going to come into a triangle position. Triangle, we keep the legs straight, so we stretch the muscles, pulling on the pelvis with straight legs, pulling on where the hamstrings and the glutes attach onto the pelvic bones. So a block you could use here or a chair. So get whatever it is that you need for your triangle posture. Putting the props on the ground. We start from Tadasana, mountain, which is alignment. We come into a wide stance. From the wide stance, lifting the toes move away, heel moves away. Shoulders are forward, up, back, and down to get a nice long front body. Keep the front hand on the leg, exhale. And as you inhale, let the front arm move down the leg and let the hips move away from you. So the front arm staying straight. Now stop at the top of the knee. Push down with your arm into your leg and push your hips away. Try to push your torso away from your leg, bending the hip joint, not the spine. If you're able to go down a little farther, you can, either keeping your hand on the leg or putting it on the block or on the chair. Turning your body forward, tailbone down towards the back inner edge of the back heel. And then rip the floor apart with your feet, lengthen your spine, rotate your trunk forward. Push away from the floor, rip the floor apart, long spine, rotate up towards the sky. Take one more breath. Push your feet into the floor to bring yourself back up. We're going to go to the other side. So bringing your props over, whether that's a chair or a block. You could come back to Tadasana if you'd like, or come back to Tadasana if you move the chair. From here, preparing to the other side. So we externally rotate one hip, we internally rotate the other. Push your feet into the floor, get nice and tall. Front hand on the front leg. Shoulders are up, back, and down. Exhale. As you inhale, sliding that front arm down until you get to right above the knee. Push the hips away. Make sure the bend is in the hip joint. Bring your arm up, slide a little farther down wherever you go. Hand is on the chair or on the block or keep it on the leg. This is the straight leg position. Pulling on the pelvis, rip the floor apart, tailbone down towards the back inner heel. Arms up, long spine, and then turn your spine forward. So a little bit of spinal bone stimulation here in this posture. A lot of pelvis and leg bone stimulation in the triangle. Take one more breath. Pushing your feet into the floor, keep your legs straight as you bring yourself back up. Back into mountain alignment. And then all the way out. So we're going to come now into some of the bent knee standing postures. And this is going to put compressive force as the top of the femur bone pushes into the pelvis, bending the hip and the knee a lot, using the feet to get as much activation, and then that nice long spine. We'll do this in the warrior two and side angle. So first, take your block off to the side. If balance is an issue for you, having a wall behind you or even a chair in front of you can be helpful. Coming from the mountain, Wide stance. Bring the toes away, the heel away. We're gonna start to bend that front knee. And as we bend the front knee moves towards the back. Don't let it cave in. Really keep that strength in the side of your body. Take the back hand on the back leg, keep the arm straight. Exhale. As you inhale, push away from the back foot, from the pinky toe edge of the back foot. Let the back arm slide down the back leg until you can't go any farther or deeper in that front leg. From here, bring the back arm up. Reach long with your fingers, push your shoulders away from your ears. Push your hands back. Bring your awareness down into your feet. Rip the floor apart so that your pelvis can correct. You could point your tailbone down towards the ground and then grow with a nice long spine out of your pelvis. Long with your fingers, long neck, ripping the floor apart. Go deeper in that front leg if you can, putting more pressure in the femur bone, the muscles of the leg, and in your pelvis. Take one more breath. Bring yourself up and out. The deeper you bend your knees and your hips, the more forces you put in your body. So choose to go lower if you want this to be a little bit more challenging. Come back to center. Let's go to the other side. Toes are away, heel is away. Take the back hand on the back leg. Start to bend the front leg a little and activate the back foot, lifting the arch off, pushing into the pinky toe edge. Exhale. As you inhale, slide the back hand down the back thigh, bring the front arm up, and from here, bring both arms up. Reach long with your hands. Push your feet into the floor so you feel the freedom coming into your pelvis to point your tailbone down. Go a little deeper if that's available to you. Bring your awareness up your spine to your shoulders. Push your shoulders away from your ears. Push your arms back. Reach long out your fingers. Push your feet into the floor. Rip the floor apart. Deep in your bend if you can. Long spine, lifted heart. Take one more breath. And then you're going to unbend, bring yourself up and out, all the way back into your Tadasana. And then go ahead and release. We're going to come into side angle. Having a block may be handy, or you can rest your hands on your thighs so you don't have to have the props. Take your legs into the Tadasana, your body into Tadasana Mountain. From here, wide stance, toes are up, heel back. Bend the front leg. We come in through the warrior two, hand on the back thigh. Exhale. Inhale, slide the straight arm down the back leg. Bring your arms up into warrior two. Reach long in your front arm, and then the hand goes onto your thigh or onto the front of your knee or onto a block, which will get you to go a little deeper in that front leg. Push, rip the floor apart. And then we want to add spinal bone stimulation. So if you push your arm into your leg or into the inner knee, you spiral your heart forward, bringing a little rotational force into your spine to stimulate bone growth. Pull on your bones, push on your bones, push away from the floor, rip the floor apart. Go deeper if you can in that front leg. Push your front foot into the floor a lot. Push into the heel a lot. And push your arm into the inner knee or on top of the thigh. This is when you get stronger hips, stronger femur bones, stronger neck of femur. Take one more breath. Bring yourself back up to the warrior two and then out. Coming to the other side. Coming into warrior two, toes are away, heels away. Back hand on the back thigh. Slight bend in the front leg Activating the side of your body, pushing the leg towards the side. Activate the back foot, rolling towards that pinky toe edge. Don't let that collapse happen. Really activate that back foot. Exhale. As you inhale, slide the back hand down the leg, bring the front arm up from here, both arms up, and then bending at the hip to come forward. Hand on the thigh or on the block or the inner leg. Then go deeper in that bend. Push and rip the floor apart with your feet. Lengthen your torso here. Long spine, rotated spine. Deeper if you can. Rip the floor apart, long spine, rotate forward. Push the front foot into the floor, the front heel into the floor. Feel that glute activate, inner thigh stretch, pulling on the pelvis. Take one more breath. Bring yourself back to neutral and then out. Coming to rest. Then shake your arms. Shake your legs. Notice your body, what you've been demanding so far. We're going to come down into the ground to finish the practice. We'll need the strap and the block and the blanket. So go ahead, get that. When you come down, try coming down through a squat today. So take your legs wide. You could take your hands together. Push your pelvis back like you're sitting on a chair, slowly lowering down into your knees, going even beyond that if you can. And then bring your hands to the ground and come down onto the ground and then onto your tush. So come onto your tushy and move side to side so you feel your pelvic bones. These are the bones that we're pulling on when we do a lot of our stretching and a lot of our leg movement to keep them nice and strong for fracture prevention, to make them fracture proof. Side to side. We're going to come into Navasana boat. We're going to make sure that you don't round your spine. That's the no-no with osteoporosis. And we're strengthening the postural muscles that help to support the spine. So bring your feet back. You could do one leg at a time if you'd like, even with the arms off, and then switch halfway through. I'll let you know when that happens. Or you could try both legs off, elbows are to the side. Long spine. Let's begin, either holding on or letting go of your hands. If you have one foot up, I'll tell you when to switch. Long spine. Imagine that your heart is being lifted up towards the sky. That's the halfway point. If you had two legs or one leg up, you could put the other one down and switch. Try to pull your knees towards your heart towards your knees. Last breath, and then bring yourself out. Let's stretch our body. Take your arms long, take your legs long. Let one leg at a time come in, stretching your hips, stretching your legs. Make sure you don't cave in and collapse in your chest. And then bring yourself out. We're going to come down into the ground now. So bring yourself to the side. Slide your hand nice and long. Bring yourself onto your back. So we're going to do a bridge posture today with a block. So it may limit your ability to lift up too high. This is going to help to stabilize the lumbar spine. It can actually help correct some bulging discs, which seems to be something that a lot of people suffer from. So take your block between your legs and walk your feet back towards your body. With the bridge, you want your blanket to be away. Lift up your head, lengthen your spine. Take your arms into the ground, lift up off the ground so your shoulder blades go flat onto the floor. And then squeeze the block a couple of times. Take your hands, either keep them here, keep them here. We use our arms to try to lift the rib cage away from the ground. So exhale, inhale, and then on the next exhale, squeeze the block, squeeze the tushy, push your feet into the ground, lift your pelvis up, bend your spine, and then inhale to lower down. We'll do 3. On the third one, we'll hold. This is number 2. Squeeze the block, squeeze the tushy, peel the spine up. Use the arms at the top to lift the rib cage up even more, and then bring yourself down. Last one, we're going to come up and hold. Keep your arms close to your body. Exhale, push your feet in, squeeze your block a lot, lift your pelvis, push your arm into the ground, close your eyes, lift your pelvis up as high as you can. If you can clasp, not letting your rib cage or upper body rest on your arms. Otherwise, keep your arms bent, squeeze the block, push into the floor, push away from the ground, squeeze the block. Take one more breath. And then slowly bringing yourself all the way down, one vertebra at a time. Take the block off to the side. Bring the blanket back underneath your head. Draw your knees into your chest. Stretching your glutes, stretching your legs. Get your strap. We're going to pull on the pelvis here. The goal here is that you use the back leg muscles to pull onto the pelvis. Try to keep your pelvis neutral. Don't let your pelvis tilt backwards so that the low back flattens on the ground. It doesn't matter where this leg is in space. It's not about getting your leg to go back. My leg going back like that tilts my pelvis back, flattens my low back, and it just extends the start point of the hamstring. It doesn't mean that I'm more flexible when I do that. The goal here is to pull on your pelvis. Take the strap in the right leg, in the right arch. Hold on to the strap. Right hand holds the right strap. Left hand holds the left. Take your left leg long, if that's okay for your body. Push your left leg into the ground. Right leg is straight. Pull down with the strap. Push the leg away with the muscles of the leg. Keep your low back away from the ground. Feel the pressure in the right buttock on the ground. And now pull the leg back towards the wall behind you without tilting your pelvis. Push the leg away, pull down, pull back. Close your eyes. Feel a lot of pressure as you pull on the back of your hamstring muscle, which is attached to your pelvis. Try to push your right buttock into the ground a lot and push the leg away from you. Pull the leg back. Take one more breath. And then go ahead, bend that leg, bend the opposite leg, bring the left foot up. So you want a straight leg, a neutral pelvis, Active leg, straightening the right leg, that helps to keep the pelvis more in a stabilized neutral position. You're going to pull down the strap, feel the left buttock in the ground, left low back is not pressing into the ground. You're not tilting your pelvis backwards. Push the leg away, and then let's enter this posture, pulling the leg towards the wall behind you, pushing away with the muscles, pulling down with the strap. Pushing and pulling on the bones is how we strengthen them. Push down, push away, pull back. Take one more breath. And then go ahead and release. Bring both feet up into the strap. Have your feet be hip distance. Soles of the feet are up towards the sky. Pull down, push away, and then pull back. Double leg hamstring stretch. Try not to let your low back press into the floor. Push the middle of your pelvis into the floor. Push your legs away, pull them back. Try to push your tailbone towards the ground. Take one more breath. And then go ahead and release. Take your strap off. Draw your knees into your chest, rock side to side. So before we come into Shavasana, let's do a little inversion, a supported bridge posture to relax our body, relax our mind before Shavasana. So not too much blanket behind your head. Take your block, lift your pelvis up, and let your pelvis rest on the block. Try to lift your legs up. Try to put the back edge of your pelvis onto the edge of the block. Let your sacrum rest on the block. Close your eyes, lengthen your back and neck. Supported bridge. Mouth is closed, breathing in and out through your nose. Let the blood come back to the heart. Let the heart have a break. If you'd like to accentuate this inversion, you can bring your legs up in the air. The only counterindication for an inversion is unmanaged high blood pressure. So if you have blood pressure that's managed by medications, you're okay to do an inversion. Legs are in the air, let the blood flow back down to the heart. Give the heart a break. Mouth is closed, breathe in and out through your nose. Point your feet and flex. Point and flex if your legs are in the air. And then circles. So the final posture of the day is Shavasana. Letting the memory of today's practice, the new strength, the new flexibility, the new range of motion, sink into your body, into the memory of new. Take your block out to the side. You could draw your knees into your chest, let the low back flatten. And from here, bringing yourself into Shavasana, final rest. Gently begin to deepen your breath. Start to bring movement into your fingers, your toes, your ankles, your wrists. Bending the knees, draw the knees into your chest. Rocking side to side. Bring yourself onto your side. And from here all the way up to seated. Sit nice and tall in your spine, bringing your hands together at your heart, pressing your hands to your heart to your hands, and press your hands into your chest. We'll close with sound, a humming sound to settle the body, the mind, and the soul. Exhale. Inhale. Bringing your hand up, bowing in gratitude. Namaste. We did 15 postures today. Pretty sure there was 15. Paying attention, as always, to the level of appropriateness at which you show up every time to your mat. Do your maximum, maybe slightly over, and nurse whatever needs to be nursed in your body if you have issues in your body. Practice all the time for the rest of your life to stay strong and healthy as you age. All right, so the cat did throw up the minute I put him outside, in case you were wondering. Thank gosh, I got that. Oh my goodness, that's all I need, more work. All right, so you're welcome, Stevie. You're welcome. Happy holidays. I hope to see more of you all in 2024, whether that's in class, in a group, a workshop, Scotland, Bali, whatever it is. Have a wonderful holiday, and I will see you next year. Bye, everyone.